Welcome to episode 13 of the OVW Fan Zone, where fans talk back. My name is Jackman Oaks.
I'm Brian Hines. What's up, guys?
Today we are getting into all of the Manchester action from last week. We'll be reviewing our predictions there. We'll be talking to you guys in the chat. As always, Brian Hines, how can they talk to us in the chat? What's the easiest way?
The easiest way to get a hold of us during this show is to jump into the live chat and mention us at OVW Podcast, and you will get our attention. And as always, super chats go to the top of the line. We will break into whatever it is we're talking about for a super chat.
Yeah, Tiny Brian will interrupt us. Tiny Brian, this is, of course, the Tiny Brian here that you will hear momentarily.
Hello, this is the Tiny Brian that you heard just now. Yes, I'm in the chat room as OVW Podcast. I'll be watching for questions that you guys might miss. You guys do now actually get to see the chat room yourselves.
Yes, actually, I am in the chat room.
Yeah,
So behave yourself out there in the chat room.
Yeah.
I'm looking at you, Keith.
I mean, Keith is a known rebel. Mr. Keith Silva himself. Good evening, folks.
Yeah, good evening. Good to see everybody that we had been missing at Davis Arena over this past week. Not just the fans, but the wrestlers at the Manchester Music Hall. We'll, of course, jump into that later on in the show. But actually, let's go ahead and do it now. I'm in control. I got a live microphone. Oh, hey, Stinky Tuna. Manchester Music Hall was a lot of fun.
It was a great show. It was great to see everybody after not seeing them for 3 weeks.
We have a...
Uh-oh.
We have a I believe that is a...
Mr. O'Hara, Jason.
Is that a super chat? It doesn't say an amount.
I don't know.
He is a long-standing member. I think it goes up to like the top.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a YouTube
okay,
membership.
I see.
Okay.
we will say
Well, good
hi to
evening, Jason.
Hey, Jason.
And
Thanks
very
for tuning
colorful.
in.
Thank you for tuning in and being a part of this, because we couldn't do any of this without the
All
fans,
you
just like
guys.
OVW. They
Yeah.
couldn't do anything without the fans, so we thank all of you.
But was it a different kind of fan that OVW was having trouble with?
What?
The fans in the ceiling?
Well, the fans were fine. It's just the coolant was out because somebody took
right.
all the copper.
Right.
They may or may not have been Scottish.
Yeah, I think it actually probably was Crixus, now that you mention it. Would the fan base be interested in another meetup like that sometime soon, you think? Would that be something that people were interested in?
Like, say if we came to some place in Louisville on a Wednesday night and just set up in a place where you could come and maybe get a drink and watch us.
Maybe any place in particular?
Like,
I mean, I don't want to name names right now. There are places, but we have places that we could go there in Louisville.
I'll name names. Like maybe the Country Boy Louisville Tap Room?
Maybe so. Maybe a certain Holiday Inn.
Oh, that's right.
We have multiple options.
Um,
So we'd love, and we're thinking about it. We've been thinking this summer vacation is great and all. It's nice to relax, but we miss you guys.
Yeah.
And the Manchester show showed us just how much we miss you guys.
Yeah, and that is, we want to take this show, we want to start kind of, now that we've barely got the grasp of how to do it here in the studio, we want to take it on the road and interact with you guys if that's something that you guys think that
because
would
why
be
not?
possible. We would love that. And
We want to be able to mess up when the stakes are much higher.
Yes.
Like when you guys are right there staring at us, judging us. That's when we really want to mess up a lot.
Pizza with ranch is essential, Bunny B.
Yes,
Pizza
I agree.
Pizza with ranch is a great combo. Davis Arena, of course, remains out of commission.
Unfortunately.
Down for the 10 count at the moment, but I have a feeling
No,
they
standing
will,
8.
The standing 8, yeah. I have a feeling they will take that and eventually be back on their feet. I think I think they have a time frame in mind, but everything is up in the air.
Yeah. The future's uncertain and the end is always near.
We know a lot about being unofficial, given that the other 6 days of the week we are. So we know some unofficial things, but we can't really talk about those.
Right.
But we just really hope we're going to see things moving along there real soon.
But although there's no action at Davis Arena, the OVW YouTube page and all of their social medias are popping. Rise has kind of become a pay-per-view replay spot. Where they're showing you the best matches of various pay-per-views in chronological order, so plenty of time to catch up. And those, of course, stay up on YouTube. So if you missed them live for whatever reason, they're up on YouTube. And then OVW Overdrive, which is a show that Tiny Brian primarily covers on our podcast, the OVW Podcast, the unofficial podcast of Ohio Valley Wrestling. They're going through member by member of the Revolution.
Yes, they are, and showing their best matches and all of that stuff, and it's a lot of fun.
So who is it this week?
I have not actually gotten to watch it yet.
So it's a mystery.
Been prepping for this.
But they've done Jamin
Tony.
Olivencia, and they did Tony.
I mean, Crixus would be my biggest guess, maybe EC3. I mean, if they're going through kind of the big stars. Someone will say in a second.
And I wonder if that so there's 6 pay-per-views in rotation that will be shown in the place of Rise. I wonder if maybe that 6th week of Overdrive, if maybe we don't see a new Masked Man, and then we can see their highlight reel there as well.
It's entirely possible.
We think that there's another one floating out around there, presumably.
We know there's at least one more.
At least 5.
Chat, what do you guys think? How many Masked Men do we not know about yet? We'll see. AJZ, I guess they'll end up showing one of his, but he's been out of OVW for a while, and he did not look anything like he does now when he was at OVW before. So we'll see. I guess we'll just see what happens. That's the fun of being fans, right? We don't know what happens. We're just here to talk about it.
Yep.
We're just here to have fun.
Pretty much.
You want to give us some tour dates, Brian?
It was Crixus this week, by the way.
It was Crixus
according to the Fan Zone chat. Thank you guys for the assist on that. So let's get to it. The OVW tour update. August 10th, Cheswick, Pennsylvania. August 16th, which is a Friday, is Cincinnati, Ohio at Riverfront Live. I plan
we should go to that one.
I plan on being there.
Yeah.
I don't know what you guys are doing, but I plan on making it to that one.
I might be sequestered. That's birthday weekends tend to be
that is
weird for me.
All the more reason to get out and.
Are you a Leo?
That's what I've been told.
That explains a lot.
That tracks.
Okay. Anyway, Warren, Ohio, August 17th.
Can I get my camera?
Out of nowhere.
When you were born has nothing to do with anything, I promise. Just because I'm really good looking, just because I speak really well, I enjoy being in front of a crowd, I'm obsessed with my hair, I'm super charismatic. None of those things make me a Leo, okay? They all are just true.
Wow, full of yourself much?
But the fact that you felt the need to take your camera and tell us that does make you a Leo.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyway, let's move on to the tour.
So we're cool?
Yeah, we're all cool.
Okay. Milwaukee, Wisconsin, August 18th. And OVW Fight Night at Appalachian Wireless Arena in Pikeville, Kentucky is August 31st, featuring Kevin Nash and newly announced Victoria and the Boogeyman.
Can I tell you guys a little secret about Pikeville? Little known fact.
Jesus.
OVW senior producer Victor Anderson is actually a native of Pike County and would call Pikeville his hometown.
You don't say.
I mean, I know I've said I'm from there. I've mentioned it. But you know, no, but we've not really talked about the fact that Victor is also a Pike County native.
I thought that had been addressed already.
You're
Because
too
if he's
busy.
like you, he would have already said it like 18 or 19 times.
He doesn't have the chance to be on the mic as much as me in
I
these
see.
settings.
Okay, well, then there you go. There's a thing that you know now.
Yes, Radio McRadio Face Nash will be there.
Yes.
See you out there.
WWE Hall of Famer Kevin Nash.
2-time.
And finally, Longport, Indiana on September 7th, 2024. You can get tickets to all these shows and any future OVW shows at OVWTix, that is OVWTIX.com.
Yes, those are all dates on the Danos National Tour. Shaping up to be a great summer. The OVW Fight Night being the pinnacle of the summer. It seems like the coolest place to be in the hottest summer of all time is Pikeville, Kentucky.
They should put that on the posters.
Yeah, I can come up with them. It's one of those. It's really hard being so smart all the time. You know, like.
How would you know?
Oh wow.
There you go. You do this.
Before the Manchester show last week, some OVW stars came by the studio for an interview. Actually, Manchester days are our most favorite days when it comes to OVW.
My favorite days are July 23rd through August 22nd.
Because, of course. All right. Let's see. Anyway, the day of the Manchester show, we work relatively close to the venue, and we have space to host the OVW talent if they have time and they feel like stopping by. And sometimes we get a chance to do some interviews. Sometimes, there's always going to be food. That just goes without saying.
We eat a lot around this podcast.
Yeah.
Live stream.
Sometimes we hang out and play video games and basketball, or sometimes we do other video shorts. But our cameras were there, and we're getting ready to go to break. So why don't you guys take a look? And this is a day in the life of...
It's a game of horse with the OVW stars.
Yeah.
And then a break, and we'll be back.
Good job.
Yeah! I mean, he's going to be the only one in the dunk contest, so. He is the dunk contest. Who's about to dunk, Everybody makes the first shot. Air ball. H for Donovan. I keep expecting one of the balls to hit me.
Oh, yeah, you got to watch him on this one, man. He puts people out all the time.
Oh! And I got it on film. Oh, that's a letter. H. Ah, that's an H for the mammoth. You a hoe, mammoth. Ah. Oh, got me. Down goes Tiny. Oh. You got that vertical? Let's see it. Oh. I'm not gonna hit that, but I tried. You tried that last shot. What are we? From behind the crap?
Hey, it's Voice of the Valley, Eric Cornish, and I'm in the OVW Fan Zone.
A love and a passion we all share. I've started a wrestling brand. A brand founded on the aspects of wrestling. Two entities working together to create a product that connect emotionally for people everywhere. From counting the lights in your local armory to main eventing in Korakuen Hall in Tokyo, Japan. Collar and elbow. The wrestling brand.
I'm Brandon, and I'm from the OVW Fan Zone.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
I'm Allison. We're the OVW Fan Zone.
Welcome back to the OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. My name is Jackman Oaks.
I'm still here, and I'm still Brian Hines.
All right, so this is where we make our. It's where we both make our money and meet our maker.
So I weirdly, this is probably the one of the few times where we're going to talk about a wrestling show, but first we need to talk about a giant computer problem.
Oh, one that we're having currently?
No,
Oh, thank
we're fine.
goodness.
We're
Thank
fine.
goodness. Oh, gosh.
I'm
Oh,
talking
God.
about the CrowdStrike error from last Friday, which paralyzed the whole country, specifically
Oh, right.
including OVW stars.
I'm a big fan of any time any worker goes on strike. That is my opinion, Jack Oaks, not anybody else's opinion. But it did pose a problem for Ohio Valley Wrestling.
I mean, this is all software. There's no crowd actually striking.
No, any strike of any kind, AI strike.
Okay. We'll get to your labor relations beliefs later. So that did cause ripples that made this whole card change.
Yeah, but it was a great card.
It is.
Great
Oh,
card.
yeah, it was a great card, great show, great energy, great crowd.
So if you go to the bottom of the notes on these, you'll see the actual card along with who actually won.
Okay.
So we will kind of just go through this and talk about the matches, and we will look and see if we can glean anything from your predictions.
Wait, what
because
now?
almost no matches are correct. After the 8 bouts that were there, you'll see I have the word actual.
Yes.
Ah,
Why we
And
have an
that's-
extra page of notes.
Yes, that's why there's an extra page of notes.
okay.
So we can actually talk about what actually went down instead of just looking at what was on the card.
Yes, because what we predicted would happen was
Impossible.
nowhere near anywhere close to what actually happened.
The matches that we predicted did not happen for the most part. So
Yes.
we will look at what was there and talk about it. See if we can glean anything from your predictions, and then we will move on to the next thing.
All right, set us up.
All right. So the actual bout one was Tony Evans with Jay De Niro versus Star Rider. Both these guys were on the show, but they were booked to different folks. One second. It was so great to have Tony Evans do his trademark. All of you people piss me off. Send anybody out here and I'm going to beat them up. And if I won't, then my loaded baked potato glove wearing friend will. Loved the Tony Evans stick.
Yeah, kind of a tale as old as time with Tony Evans. Go out and be the first person on microphone, rile up the crowd, let the crowd know this is the guy you're supposed to boo. But a lot of familiar faces at this past Manchester show, and that hasn't always been the case. I just think the OVW fans were ready to see OVW, so they showed out in droves here.
Are you talking about the Louisville crowd?
Yes.
The
yes.
people that
a
we see
lot
on a
of
regular
Louisville
basis.
folks
Yes.
showing up.
Yeah, it was great to see all you guys. Thanks for coming out. And I'm hoping that we get a chance to do it again really soon.
Yeah, so when we see Tony, everybody knew what to do. Everybody booed. Everybody was ready.
Oh, yeah.
We had him going up against Star Rider.
With a brand new, at least new for me, a brand new ref.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
would be a
So-
gentleman that we got to know that afternoon, Dallas.
Yeah, you would have seen him in the background of that basketball video.
Right. I have some questions about Dallas. No critiques really, but some questions. He and can we? Is it okay to get into him here? You think this is a fine time to get into him?
Yeah, this is the moment for talking about the event, so let's do it.
Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. Star Rider took the victory.
Absolutely, in a great match.
Yeah, great match. But the kind of the middle of the match is what I want to talk about, and the refs' participation in it specifically. In the past, OVW's kind of felt like all of the refs have like one general character. This is the first time that I can think of, and this is not me saying it hasn't happened. There are people who know way more about OVW that can tell me whether or not it's happened either on TV or in a house show. But Dallas got like physical, like pulled out a wrestling move. On
Yeah, I've never
Tony
seen
Evans.
a referee of aggression before.
Not at OVW.
No.
And I wonder if, because, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the first time we've seen him at Ohio Valley Wrestling refereeing
My
matches.
sources tell me that he has done one other tour stop he was
Okay.
on, and he may have been around he may have done a match or two at a Rise or a pay-per-view. He had been in Davis Arena once and has been on the road once, so relatively new. Certainly the first time I remember seeing him.
He did the lion's share of the refereeing that night.
Him and Chloe basically split it.
And
Cloyd.
I guess what my question is, and chat, feel free to jump in on this, and of course want your guys' opinions, was this just an anomaly because it was at a house show, or is like this a referee that has a character that can get physical, that will get physical?
I don't know. I kind of feel like it's too early to tell. I mean, this is the first time I remember seeing referee Dallas. He's a smaller guy.
Yep.
And I was surprised to see what happened.
Me too, because to be honest, it felt kind of off-brand for Ohio Valley Wrestling. Not to say I didn't enjoy it. Popped the crowd huge. Always love when the little guy gets over on, like, the bully,
Yeah.
Love that. But it did feel a little off-brand. And I genuinely wonder if it was a one-off house show thing, or if, like, this is experimenting with what we could do with refs in the future.
Keith's if you notice, Keith says that the ref was physical there at the Crestwood show.
So it looks like it could be something. Thank you, Keith. That's valuable information.
Quite.
Looks like something that they
Thanks,
could be
Keith.
trying out, maybe with this guy specifically.
Could be that was the other house show he was involved in.
Yeah. So interesting stuff. Just kind of something to set on the back burner, a question that will get answered over time. We'll see what happens. But I also kind of thought that it was interesting that it happened in the first match of the night, because that was also kind of off-brand for OVW. Now I know this guy can get physical and will get physical, and then he's just a referee for the rest of the night. I thought that was a little I was unsure. Maybe they're unsure. Maybe it's an experiment that is still ongoing. Maybe they're playing both sides of the coin, trying to see what works. I don't know.
Tony Evans rather famously bullies referees.
That's true.
Every one of them.
You think
Daniel
this is
Spencer
one?
down.
This is one for the back. You think that was one for the back?
Yeah, I think that, and we know that when the wrestlers play a little rough or don't quite follow what they're supposed to do, sometimes another wrestler will be brought in to kind of work them a little bit.
Yeah, that's true.
So
Smack them around, so
yeah,
to speak.
And maybe that's what Dallas is sort of the equivalent of that.
Maybe. It reminded me of some things that I just had never seen in OVW before. So I just wanted to make note of it.
The only time I remember seeing a referee do something above and beyond normal referee duties was EC3 at the waterfront. But that doesn't really count because he's not a referee.
And his tiny but not tiny enough referee shirt.
And in the original predictions, Jackman, you predicted that Star Rider would win his match.
Okay.
So since he did win this bout, you get the point for this.
I guess I'll take it because it's my point.
We're playing around. We're playing fast and loose.
I'll
here.
take it because it's my point.
Yes.
Okay.
But we'll see if we can find some other points to give out. Let's move on to match 2 here.
I actually want to give my point to Malachi. Hi, Malachi.
For the record, folks, Malachi really seems always gone to the.
Oh, hey, Malachi.
Hey, Malachi.
I want to give my point to you. Thank
He
you.
wants to give his point to you.
And it's for the liberal use of this camera. is why you're getting my point. Tiny Brian.
The actual second match was Star Player Prime versus a last-minute addition in the form of Icon Lee.
Yeah, so Star Player Prime, we sat down with him. This guy is I don't think we've seen like a tenth of this guy's pure athleticism.
No.
No, we're just getting the tip on a lot of these guys that we'll talk about tonight.
Even just the way he enters the ring, not going to be able to do that forever, but while you can, jumping straight through the ropes, into the roll, standing up, the presentation is fantastic. I mean, I just don't think we've seen like a tenth of that kid's overall ability yet. Or pure athleticism. Sometimes that doesn't always equal wrestling, but more often than not, it helps.
Yeah, I mean, just getting to sit down and spend some time with this guy, outside of just, seeing him in passing at Davis Arena, we have a lot of great things in store from him.
Yeah, not just from him, but from a lot of these young guys. I was very, very, very impressed with all of the young guys coming through that we got the chance to talk to and that you guys will get the chance to experience on our regular podcast, the OVW Podcast, wherever you find your podcasts.
Star Player does get the win here with a little help from his friend, Boy Toy Troy.
Right, I think that was the right choice.
And Brian, you predicted that Star Player Prime would win his match, so you get a point for this one.
Huzzah! Look at that. I, too, will donate my point to Malachi, because if we're bribing Malachi to use that camera, then I would also like to be able to go, look at me, on command. So there we go.
Capricorns represent.
Holla.
We saw Boy Toy Troy. After that was Showtime Shanklin. Those guys had just spent all afternoon with each other over here. We'd spent all afternoon with them.
Hooping it up.
Showtime Shanklin, as you saw, much better at basketball than Boy Toy Troy. But in the match here,
we did kind of go past the Rush Division title. If you want to talk about these as a pair,
yes.
But the Rush Division was in the middle, so we'll go back to that.
Yes.
All right, so yes, Boy Toy Troy versus Showtime Shanklin.
Shanklin picks up the win, technically, I guess we
I
could say.
mean, sort of, because Boy Toy comes out, or Prime Jackson comes out here and tries to help Boy Toy win, but then Icon Lee comes out and tries to save Shanklin.
So it turns out to be a tag team match.
Yeah, so it rolls up into a tag team match.
Right.
That Shanklin and Lee will eventually win.
I think that this is easy. Let's get these guys out there as often and as much as humanly possible.
Yeah, these four guys put on a great match. Mm-hmm. And I could see that being a really good rivalry for these two teams. And I hope that we get to see more of that across the Danos Summer Tour and eventually at Davis Arena when we all reconvene later on.
We host another show. It comes out on Mondays.
That one's the unofficial.
It's unofficial.
Yeah, if you guys, I have more I could say, but you can find it on Mondays, the unofficial show. Let's go back to the Rush title here. The match I had skipped.
Right. So the actual match was, as previously stated, Buzz Backlund versus Will Austin.
Right. Buzz Backlund wins by disqualification here. Just another episode in the saga of Will Austin and Buzz Backlund.
And this was one of the ones that was on the card.
Yes.
So, and you guys both predicted Buzz Backlund to win, so points for both of you.
Yeah. And I think that we probably I think at least you did go so far as to say it would be a DQ win, so that the title didn't change hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, keep that going until Fight Night, because I think that this program, those two guys, how well they've done with this program, deserve that huge crowd.
Yeah, they certainly do. And that's going to be the biggest night of the summer.
Yep. So we have a 6-man tag, a trios, if you will, up next.
Yes,
we're
this
kind of
is,
jumping all over. Sorry.
No, that's what's next. It is Dustin Jackson, Jake Lawless, and Omar Amir versus Donovan Cecil, Shira, and Super Z.
So this was another match here that got kind of thrown around because of those brave computers striking down, in all the
Striking
the
in the
airlines.
cyber, striking and closing the information superhighways.
TW3 couldn't make the match, so originally this was carded as Lawless and Jackson versus Tuss and Chains, but we kind of got a smattering of a few different matches here with the teams that we ended up getting. I think it was always going to be a babyface victory here. The babyfaces ended up taking the victory here. Did see Jackson and Lawless being a lot more performative as heels, I guess. A lot more obvious as heels than I think they have been in their run in Davis Arena as a tag team so far.
I've not really thought of them as a heel before this moment.
Exactly. But then they kind of get, put on that side of the card and that side of the dynamic with Omar Amir. And I thought that their heel work was pretty. I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy the presentation of them being like straightforward heels as much as I enjoyed their presentation week in and week out on TV. But I think that's another avenue that they could go down if they're called upon to do that.
Got any highlights from that heel work?
Oh, I mean, they were just obviously a lot more nasty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's nothing that I could point to and say, oh, that was this or this was that. But their presentation, the way they presented themselves, the way they behaved, down to the way that they walked and communicated, they were just a lot more nasty.
Yeah.
What did you think of that match?
I mean, for being a last-minute ad, I thought it was a great way to go. I think it was a great way to use all of the people who were able to make it.
Yes.
And it made for a great in-ring story. 3 guys versus 3 other guys. Who's going to come out on top?
And just more proof that Donovan Cecil is somebody to watch. He's gotten really, really, really comfortable in this tag team with TW3. TW3 is nowhere to be seen. He gets put in with a pre-existing tag team. He's still a star, baby.
He tears it up.
It's amazing. Love Donovan. Everything Donovan does is great. This match was no exception. But I will give kudos, though, back to Jackson and Lawless. Really, really kind of another avenue they could go down if they chose to. But I really like their presentation right now. It's kind of just like guys done good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't necessarily need to see the nastiness from them on TV. Not just yet.
No.
So
Got to live it up a little bit.
And looking over your predictions based on the original card, you guys predicted 2 out of the 3 of these people would be winners. The only one you said would not win, you said Omar Amir would win, and he did not.
Of course.
So, but you guys, those round up to 66 and 66, so you both get points.
All right, baby.
Hey.
Let's go.
According to Meatloaf, 2 out of 3 ain't bad, and that'll work for me.
Up next, Tiny Brian.
Oh, well, let's see. That is on the next page, so I need to flip to it.
Yes.
This is the Triple Threat OVW Women's Championship match featuring Freya the Slayer, Hollywood, Haley J, and Layla Gray, the OVW Women's Champion.
Had to have these 3 women on the card. Absolutely had to have these 3 women on the card.
Yeah.
Had any house show that you can, especially one that they're trying to make a thing like the Manchester Music Show, gotta have these 3 women on the card. 3 of the biggest stars you have. Definitely 3 of the biggest stars off the back of Netflix. Layla Gray was in AEW. She's got crossover success on, like in social media. A lot of people were here to see these 3.
Yeah.
But having said that, the right choice for storyline was made. Layla Gray has to retain. Layla Gray has to be the champion into Fight Night. For all, she's She's the best thing going week in and week out at this point in the women's division. She made that transition from heel to babyface flawlessly, and I think really rejuvenated the amount of time she can spin with that belt. Really reinforced the amount of time, rather, that she can spin with that belt.
It doesn't feel like that belt's going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen. You guys obviously know wrestling way better than I do. But it feels weird for a title reign to start out with a character as a heel, have them switch to a face, and never lose the belt, and it just kind of keep going in a face mode. Is that unusual in wrestling?
I would say it's unconventional, because usually the belt is looked at as the catalyst for so much stuff, right? Usually the belt is the easy placeholder for actual, like, dramatic effect. That's not the case with the Bad Girls Club. That's not the case with Layla Gray. The dramatic effect has happened around the belt, not because of it. Other than, I guess, kind of Tiffany's motivation being greedy and being very selfish. But, like, even that speaks more to Tiffany's motivations as a bad guy than it does to the importance of the belt. Like, this is just a really good story. Like, it's kind of been, for the last year, give or take, it's been pretty impenetrable. And then you look at the story before it, Freya and her being the bad guy, her getting turned into a babyface at the wedding. That was impenetrable as well. Like, this is just good wrestling storytelling. Like, I don't know what else to say.
Right. That's what they do. That's what OVW does. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, they're telling the best stories out there.
Yeah, and we've gotten a little off topic from the Manchester Music Hall show, but to kind of reinforce, Layla Gray's championship run here. But, I mean, gee whiz, man. This has just all been really, really good stuff.
Yeah.
I'm almost sad, in a way, sad to see it end, but know that it's not ending.
No, it's just going to become something else.
Yeah, it's just morphing into something else.
For the record, Jackman, this match was the same as it was as advertised, and you were the one who predicted that Layla would retain. Brian, you predicted she'd retain too, but you said that she would lose by disqualification and therefore retain the title. But Jackman, you get the point this time.
I know that we got a little meta on that subject last week on the show, but all signs pointed to Layla Gray taking the victory home clean there. So,
all right, and our last match of this evening was Cal Hero and Luke Curtis versus Tony Gunn and the Scottish War Machine, even though I don't guess we really call him that anymore, Crixus.
That's a babyface name.
Indeed.
What'd you think of this match, Tiny Brian, before we get into the results?
Oh, yeah, it was a great match. A lot of hard-hitting action. I really enjoyed it.
And you, Brian Hine?
I mean, it's just another chapter in the saga between the Revolution and the OVW locker room. And we got to see two of the top guys in the OVW locker room, Certified Luke Curtis and the Fanny Pack Kid Cal Hero, take on the top two baddies in the Revolution, Crixus and Shotgun Tony Gunn. And I was not disappointed.
Cal Hero and Tony Gunn's relationship goes back forever in terms of being in and out of each other's hair, allies and enemies. Cal Hero, or Crixus and Luke Curtis have been involved basically since the moment Crixus came back and then shockingly joined the Revolution. Thought this was a smart main event here.
Yes.
I would have maybe made the women's match the main event, though.
We talked about that off mic last week after we did the predictions and stuff, and I mean, there's no wrong answer. And
No.
mean,
That's not a critique. I just think
that's just a testament to how good the storytelling is in OVW and how top tier the talent is, in my opinion. You could slot any of these as the headliner, and it's going to be a great match. It's going to be a great selection.
So we'll go ahead and say here, Tony Gunn and Crixus take the victory.
As you both predicted, as this is, again, one of the unchanged matches, so points for both of you.
I think I think you got to keep rolling without seeing a babyface win until TV's back. I think, unfortunately, you got to send the people home unhappy. But there was a little post-match shenanigans here. That left people with a smile on their face. Left most people with a smile on their face. Left one other person with something else on their face. Do we want to go ahead and take a look at this? This
let's
footage
talk
we have?
about it, and it's part of the break.
Okay,
So
okay.
let's talk about it first. So they do end up laying out Crixus and Tony.
Yes, after the bell.
After the bell.
Yes.
And when they do, who was it who brought the cake out? Because they grab the mic and everybody's out. Like Haley is roaming around the ring. Basically, the locker room kind of empties around this ring with the Helpless Revolution. And somebody brings a cake, and Luke calls out Al Snow until he finally comes and gets in the ring.
But okay, back up. We didn't. If you didn't already know, last week Al Snow had a birthday.
29 once again.
Yes. Thus, the cake at the end of the Manchester show.
Right.
Indeed.
This was I didn't know if we were going to mention that here or we were going to mention that next segment, but I guess it's necessary to say here. The reason the cake was brought out was because they were bookending the show. I mentioned that the Nashville show that I went to was set up kind of like a mini play. Like it was a night of wrestling, but there were storylines that overarched the entire night. This is kind of another nod to that.
Right.
We did open singing Happy Birthday to Al Snow.
The show opened with Josh Ashcraft and nice guy Eric Cornish.
He's a good guy.
Nice guy is Andy. Good guy is Eric Cornish.
Yeah.
We should maybe talk about Nice Guy Indy. Maybe in the last segment we'll come back and mention them and talk about their presence a little bit.
Yeah. But yeah, good guy Eric Cornish and Josh Ashcraft, the East End villain.
Yes.
It is East, yes.
They led the crowd in singing Happy Birthday to Al. So yes, kind of another bookend, a night of wrestling set kind of in the scene of a play, right?
Yeah.
And I hate making that comparison because I'm not one of those people that's like, oh, it's just like a real soap opera or whatever. But it is smart to let your fans know, and it leaves your fans happy when they have a beginning, a middle, and an end. And that's obvious, right? So I don't want to keep comparing it to a play, but that's what it feels like. I was a theater kid. So.
Well, and you made a good point off mic after the show. The last time they did a Manchester show, Luke Curtis was the one who was left in the ring. Mm-hmm. And this time, Luke Curtis left Crixus and Tony Gunn in the ring, along with the help of Fanny Pack Kid Cal Hero.
Yeah, the baby faces. I love just like babyface teams. You ever just like get excited because two baby faces are on a team together?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah, I do.
You're an 80s WCW guy. That was like basically the entirety of the booking for her.
Yeah, it could be Dusty Rhodes and Magnum TA. It could be Dusty Rhodes and Nikita Koloff at one point.
Yeah, but Dusty Rhodes plus somebody over.
Oh,
yeah.
Victor reminds me that it was actually Shannon the Dude who was left laying in the ring at the last Manchester show, not actually Luke. I think
At
least he says so.
Might have been the one that I missed.
Might have been. Anyway,
Anyway.
there seems to always be someone left laying in the ring at the end of the Manchester show.
And
Gotta leave people happy.
And in this one, Crixus was left with a face full of cake.
Yeah.
And
Al Snow's birthday cake, presumably.
Yes, or at least one of them. And our own junior producer Isaiah Anderson caught some awesome footage of it.
Or as you may know him by @StinkyTuna.
That too. So yeah, let's take a look at that as we go into our break. We'll be right back to wrap things up.
When it comes to family fun, outdoor recreation, and majestic scenery, Pikeville, Kentucky has you covered. Explore the hometown of Hatfield-McCoy feud fame and enjoy shopping, dining, car shows, and live entertainment where some of country music's biggest stars were born. Kayak through the impressive Pikeville cut-through or zip line through scenic mountains. Plan your vacation today to Pikeville, Kentucky. where beauty abides and hospitality flows.
I honestly don't know.
Hey, my name's
what just
Mark. I'm in the
happened.
OVW Fan Zone.
Dream a reality and attend the world-famous Harvard of Pro Wrestling. The OVW Academy with Al Snow, the birthplace of legends including Batista, John Cena, Randy Orton, The Miz, and many more. Will you be the next name added to that impressive list? Visit OVWacademy.com and apply now.
I'm Debbie. I'm in the OVW Fan Zone.
I want to take a moment to express my deepest gratitude. Without you, there is no OVW. Without your passion, your energy, your unwavering support, there is no us. There's no talent, no production. Without you, there's no OVW. Thank you for being the driving force behind everything we do. The unsung heroes of our saga. So from the bottom of our hearts, thank you, OVW fans. We can't do it without you.
Hey, it's me, Cal Hero, and I am at the OVW Fan Zone. Come on, come hang out.
Welcome back to the OVW Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. This is the final segment. My name is Jackman Oaks.
I'm Brian Hines.
Hey, Brian.
And apparently we snitched on Isaiah.
We snitched on him.
Yeah, he if you look in the chat, he's not happy.
Now listen, these kids, they got weird definitions for the word snitch. Trying to get you some Instagram clout or whatever. Isaiah is not snitching. All right, Malachi, give me my camera. Malachi, it's not snitching, Isaiah. It's not snitching. Thanks for the footage, though.
Yes, what's in the middle there? You can see it on the other cam pretty well.
Oh yeah.
Well, since it was Al's birthday last week, we thought that we would celebrate with our own cake.
Yeah. So, and
I love cake.
we're looking for any excuse to snack around here, people. Is really what it comes down to. Celebrating people we barely know's birthday's a week late. But, Tiny Brian, what do we got going on here in the final segment of the show this Wednesday?
Well, we've had some people talking about wanting a women's tag belt again in the chat a little bit. Of course, we know we're not quite there yet with OVW, unfortunately.
Let me tell you guys something about the women's tag belt. It's a tall hill to die on. Trust us, as somebody who's halfway up that hill.
Yep. We've talked about it several times, and we'll just see what the future holds.
Isaiah, I'm just giving you crap, man.
We've got some people. Let's see. Sacrilegious Heathen says that is frustrated that EC3 has the national heavyweight championship.
Well, aren't we all?
I mean, we all are.
Luke apparently filmed himself eating a piece of cake off of the mat at the end of the night.
Yes, he sure did.
Which
that
is
on his Instagram feed for you.
Which is, as I like to say, a choice.
That was a decision was made. Yes.
I love Sacrilegious Heathen. I'm a roller derby skater, so I deal with plenty of Vic, but that was I think they said my stomach turned. Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see the video. We'll just put it that way.
It's on his Instagram. Go find it.
I'll go find it. Not right this second. I got cake to eat, but still. There you go.
Y'all want a few trivia questions while you're eating your cake?
Yeah,
yes,
Mr.
please.
Mr. Cosper, of course, helps us out with our trivia questions here. Can't wait to get roasted on these.
The Dean of Louisville Wrestling, John Cosper, yes, provided these. Let's start out with a couple of easy ones. Who is Mrs. Foley's baby boy's favorite wrestler?
Jack Vaughn.
There it is.
The veteran.
Which tag team appeared in a commercial for Misos?
Outrunners.
Brian is just roaming them. Who is the intermediate teacher at OVW Academy?
Oh, I'm assuming that means taking the place of Cashflow?
Cashflow's beginner would be Tony Gunn.
Tony Gunn is, in fact, the intermediate, yes.
Oh, I thought you meant intermediate as in filling in for Cash while he is on location.
Nope. What is Shane Mercer's finishing move?
The
Moonsault and Battery.
Yeah, the Moonsault and Battery.
It's my favorite name for a...
Quite impressive, by the way.
Yes.
Everybody in OVW's favorite move, baby.
So let's move on to a little deeper cut from the development era. Which tough enough competitor and former OVW star is now a leading expert on concussions in sports?
The Miz?
I have a legal name here, so I don't think so.
No.
It's I believe he's the gentleman that was featured very heavily in the Dark Side of the Ring Chris Benoit episodes, but I do not remember his name.
His name is Chris Nowinski.
I believe that's him.
Ah, that was just on the tip of my nope.
We have an OVW star who worked as a bodyguard for televangelist Benny Hinn and also appeared on American Gladiators.
Is that Dave Bautista?
It is not Dave Bautista. That is a pretty good guess, though.
The original run of American Gladiators?
I don't think so. I think it was probably the more recent, because American Gladiators was running concurrently with the start of OVW.
The one with Hulk Hogan, the one that Hulk Hogan hosted.
The reboot. This was Rico Constantino.
Oh, Rico Constantino. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I didn't know that one either, so that would make that Rico Constantino.
So, in that wrestling promotion in Connecticut, when DX packed up the Spirit Squad and sent them away, where did they send the Spirit Squad?
Oh, gosh. I mean...
Think about where we are.
OVW.
What we're talking. There we go.
Did they, because they all came from OVW, right? I didn't want to just say that and then sound stupid.
Yeah, DX sent them back.
Yeah, that was just a guess.
That was just a return. I thought that was one you could just kind of guess.
This is good cake.
I also didn't Undertaker come down and beat up David Flair at OVW?
I mean, I don't have a question about it specifically, but in the
I'm pretty
development days,
I'm
could
pretty
happen.
sure that happened.
Well, we will have to do some research.
All right.
How's your cake?
Fantastic.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty
So
good.
let's
I
talk about
could tell it was going to be good because as soon as I opened the cake saver, it smelled amazing.
What's up, Ryan? Thanks for joining us.
Hey, what's going on?
So, which wrestler turned actor promoted wrestling in Louisville before working as a guard at a Jefferson County prison?
Wrestler turned actor.
Mike McCuzzi, Wee Willie Davis, or Lenny Montana?
I'm going with Mike McCuzzi.
I'm going with Lenny Montana.
And you both missed it. It was, in fact, Wee Willie
Hedging our
Davis.
bets over here.
So close, so close. According to interviews he gave, the Black Panther, Jim Mitchell, worked as a bellman at what historic Louisville hotel?
The Galt House?
That is correct.
Wow.
If the question is Louisville Classic Hotel, just guess the Galt House.
Yeah, the Galt House is actually also where I stay pretty much every time I'm in Louisville.
I think I've maybe spent the night in Louisville 3 nights in my life, and 2 of them were at the Galt House.
Yeah, the Galt House and all those renovations. If you guys are looking for a place to stay in Louisville, in all seriousness, the Galt House has always been great. They just did a bunch of renovations in the last few years, and it is popping over there. Tons of downtown food, places to walk, museums. Galt House is great.
So we're starting to move towards the end here. Let's do the calendar, shall we?
Let's do
Tomorrow, Thursday Night Rise, should be Double Cross, if I'm not mistaken. That would have been the one after March Mayhem would have been Double Cross.
We were there live at the waterfront.
Yeah, that's the waterfront show, so that's going to be awesome. That is a beautifully shot. If you didn't watch it, or even if you have, go back and watch it. It is a beautiful, beautiful couple hours of wrestling.
Yes, and it was a wonderful night to be out at the waterfront, and they had an amazing fireworks show at the end of it.
Right down in some of the shots, you can actually see the Galt House.
And us.
That's true.
Also tomorrow, but this is early in the morning in our podcast feed at OVWpodcast.com, you can find our interview with DeGat Bundles. DeGat is outspoken and a great, he's real as can be as it is on mic. But
And
he's
multi-talented.
Multi-talented.
I learned a lot of things about DeGat that I didn't know, and I was, good for you, dude. You got a lot going on.
Yeah, so that'll be in the morning. Sunday night, 8 p.m., we will go live on our own YouTube channel for the OVW Podcast, where will talk about, we will look at all the connections to what went on at the river to what's going on now, and we've never failed to find some, so I'm pretty sure we'll find some stuff again. So look out for that on Monday. And, gentlemen, next Tuesday, I'm putting a stake in the ground. Belts, Shows, and Angles 3. It's time.
I'm sick that day.
I don't understand your trepidation.
I have to go back to Ohio because my cat has a driver's test.
I actually have to drive him back to Ohio because he can't drive because his ankle broke.
But his ankles look fine.
His ankle breaks on Friday. He doesn't know it yet.
Well, that's
unfortunate.
Spooky.
He owes the wrong people a little bit of money.
Seriously, you're going to give me the stink eye, Malachi?
Nah. Oh, you owe him.
Is he the enforcer?
He's the wrong people that you owe a little bit of money.
Oh well, there's that.
All right,
Okay.
all right. Let's take it home.
And then
here.
back Wednesday, Wednesday, we are back here.
Yeah,
live
let's plug this thing
for OVW Fan Zone Live. If you're in the live stream and you've not yet liked this broadcast, please do so. Like our thing. Subscribe to us on our own YouTube channel at OVW Podcast. And anyway, that's the calendar.
Yeah, thanks for joining us today. This was a little looser than some other shows, but I had fun. I hope you guys had fun too.
Yeah.
Tiny Brian or Brian Hines. Anything else on the way out here?
I just wanted to take an official opportunity to thank everybody for joining us tonight in the Fan Zone Live, where fans talk back. It was great to spend this time with you as always. Looking forward to it next Wednesday. But until then, you can come and check out all the unofficial updates on our
OVW Podcast, wherever you find your podcast, baby.
That's right.
Tiny Brian, take us away.
Oh, I'm going to read the credits. Okay.
Yeah, I think I want to have you on the credits in perpetuity.
Interesting. The OVW Fan Zone Live, the official fan reaction talk show of Ohio Valley Wrestling, is produced by Blacklight Moon Productions at Nut House Studios in Lexington, Kentucky, in association with Gladiator Sports. The OVW Podcast broadcast team is Jackman Oaks and Brian Hines. Our studio engineer and editor is Malachi Woodard. I'm your executive producer, Tiny Brian Woodard. Senior producer for The Blimp is in the chat. His name is Victor Anderson. On Monday morning, catch the OVW Podcast, where we break down every episode of OVW Rise. And Friday mornings, catch Tiny Brian and Victor's coverage of OVW Overdrive. In the morning, don't forget, DeGap Bundles early. Check it out. It's worth your time.
Why do you keep plugging them?
After watching Wrestlers on Netflix, visit ovwpodcast.com/podcasters to find all episodes of our unofficial Wrestlers After Show. Be sure to subscribe where you get your podcast. Rate us 5 stars. Give us a review. Tell your children the story of us, and you can also tell them of us after we are gone. You can also
please don't tell them about them. I'm good.
You can also follow
and I'm supposed to be the Leo.
Hey, you know what's good? This cake.
You can follow us at OVW Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, X, TikTok, Threads, and all the way to Pikeville, Kentucky for OVW Fight Night on August 31st. I'm from there.
OVW